Hey there, I'm Brendan Petersen, the founder of DARKSLIDE Pictures and the director of Paper Wasps. Welcome to Appalling Productions' 7 experimental filmmakers you should check out. I'm actually on a set of an experimental film right now called Gates of Heaven. It's a short film in a 6-short anthology we're working on right now with DARKSLIDE Pictures and I Believe Media Group called Wake Up. And there's a Facebook page right now. Just look up Wake Up Movie on Facebook and you'll find it. It's a 6-short anthology that we're making right now. And so I thought I would talk about 7 experimental filmmakers that are definitely worth your time checking out. So that's what this video is. And I didn't want to talk about the super obvious ones like David Lynch and John Waters, and I wanted to talk about ones that are maybe a bit lesser known. So let's get started.
Starting off at number 7 is Stan Brakhage, a non-narrative filmmaker who is known for often painting directly onto the film itself, frame by frame. He also tried something in Mothlight where he used dead moths and other insects as well as plant matter to create the film. His films often have no soundtracks as he wanted the viewer to find their own music to go along with them. He's considered to be one of the most important experimental filmmakers of the 20th century. At number 6 is Alice Guy-Blaché. Now, she wasn't an experimental filmmaker per se, but she was making films during the very beginning of cinema itself, before Hollywood even existed. So cinema itself was an experimental medium in general at the time, and by making films at all when it was so new, she's inherently experimental in my mind. She was very prolific, having created over 700 films in the span of her career. She's also credited as the second person and the first woman to direct a narrative film ever. Number 5 is Frans Zwartjes, who was a filmmaker from the Netherlands with a highly stylized and claustrophobic style to his experimental works. He married sound and image in a way that is extremely foreboding, and it's some of the darkest stuff I've seen without relying on visceral shock. It's more about creeping you out through the dark visuals. His stuff has a similarity to German expressionism in that sense. Pale folks with blackened eyes looking creepy in uncomfortable close-ups with distorted angles. It's cool stuff. At number 4 is Gok Sun Kim, who are 2 brothers from South Korea whose manic style is both dark and witty. Their short film Suicidal Variations experiments extensively with flashing imagery and showing the viewer multiple scenes all happening at once by rapidly flashing between each of them. It creates a very hypnotic and visceral effect on the mind, but definitely not something a person with epilepsy should watch. Number 3 is Toshio Matsumoto, who is a Japanese filmmaker who created many experimental short films as well as narrative feature films. He would combine elements of his shorter experimental films into his longer narrative films, such as his most famous one entitled A Funeral Parade of Roses, which was actually one of the main inspirations of Stanley Kubrick when he was making A Clockwork Orange. It's definitely worth checking out his stuff. Number 2 is Nobumichi Asai, who is also known as the Face Hacker. He uses extremely advanced technology and custom-built software to project images onto moving subjects using motion tracking. The results are absolutely out of this world and extremely impressive. His film Inori is available right now on his Vimeo, and I suggest it. And at number 1 is Adam Cooley, who is an American director with a very unedited stream of consciousness type of style. He also worked with a very primitive set of equipment, often renting a camera from his local library to do most of his work. His films have a very erratic editing style that reflects this process. Have you ever heard of the idiom that the louder one screams, the less they are heard? To me, this sums up Adam Cooley. He was someone who had something to say, but not someone who was necessarily listened to. His story is so interesting, in fact, that DARKSLIDE Pictures has announced that our 3rd feature film will be based on his life. It's entitled No Reason to Exist, which is named after one of his short films that can be found on his YouTube channel.
Hey, thanks for watching Appalling Productions' 7 experimental filmmakers that you should check out. Like before, it would be awesome if people comment below with other experimental filmmakers that they know about that they think are worth checking out, that maybe are a bit more obscure and less obvious, kind of like Adam Cooley. And if you like experimental film, check out DARKSLIDE, my first feature film. It's really kind of experimental in nature, I'd say, and it's gotten some good feedback, so check it out. So thanks for watching. Now I gotta get back to setting up this lab. You're still here?